And we are back. Glad you could make it. Here we go with part 2 of our top 3 video games episode.
What did you do this week, Victor? I feel like you did something.
Oh yeah,
you kind of teased it last week.
Yeah, I went to over the weekend. Van Hera made an appearance. I can't talk tonight.
Mm-hmm. You can't.
I haven't been drinking. Well, last time I had the alcohol as an excuse.
Blame it on the alcohol.
I'm sober this time. But
sober like a fox.
What?
I don't know.
Wait, how many drinks have you had?
Not even one.
Oh. But we went to this like 1929s theme. I want to say escape room / Halloween party where, in case you didn't hear last time, you buy a ticket, you go in, they give you a character to embody, and everyone dresses up. And the entire night you're trying to figure out, there's a bunch of people there who are running the show that are dressed up and in character, and you talk to each of them and you try to figure out throughout the night what's going on, what that party that you were invited to is about. And like your character has, I don't want to say goal, but yeah, they kind of have a goal. Like my character was a gambler that was bored of gambling and wanted to find something new.
He was from Bolivia, right?
No, he had a fake Bolivian accent. Like he's a local.
Oh, he was a fake loco. Bolivian.
Mm-hmm. Except I gave him a southern accent for probably most of the night, but then
you got lazy.
Yeah, I know. And then I got really drunk at the end.
So he had a fake Bolivian accent? Or no, wait, he was pretending to be from Bolivia.
Yeah.
Why Bolivia?
I guess back in 20s. Can I call it the 30s, 20s, 30s?
Well, what was the date?
1929.
Yeah, I guess you can call it the 30s.
The 30s.
I'll allow it.
The Bolivians were quite exotic. So
is this just hearsay? Are you just figuring this out?
This is based on the timeline that my character was participating
in. Okay.
Yeah. And
I don't know if that's true or not.
No, it definitely was.
Okay.
100%. I'm completely informed.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. Like you kind of figure out that there's 3 different parties here. There's like the mob, there's the cops, and then there's just some kind of shady guys who are just buying up property in the city. Oh, it takes place in the city of Toronto. So, yeah.
Okay.
So
I've heard of that city.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 1929 Toronto, and you were from the South.
Hey, it makes sense in my mind.
And you're a gambler in Toronto. Okay. And so you were a part of, did you find out you were a part of one of these groups?
No, I was trying to, well, my character was basically there to find something other than gambling to kind of keep his mind occupied. But I kind of realized about halfway through that, like, I thought maybe going in that, okay, this character has to, at the end, get to this point with this group. And that would be the goal. And that's where, because my friend was saying that, like, she's part of this group that's running this thing.
Right.
So she was saying like, oh yeah, like there is a goal for your character. And if you achieve it, then you get something at the end. So I thought, okay, maybe I have to get in with a certain group. But
like a high five? Like what would be the prize for that?
I have no idea.
You didn't get your goal?
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did? So what's the prize?
I was going to get to it. Fine.
Okay. No. If you want to talk about it later, that's fine. Okay.
But yeah, so I kind of went, it was kind of weird. Like I find it a little bit difficult to stay in character just because the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
I joke a lot about a lot of stuff.
You don't take anything seriously. Yeah.
Not really, no. It's making a lot of puns and like terrible dad jokes all night. It's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, one of the girls I was talking to, like she was a guest there too. Her character's name was Mercedes. And I was like, oh, that's a quick little name.
It's not even funny.
I know. Well, I was drunk. I said something like that. That probably wasn't it. I can't remember it. But like, yeah, I broke character a lot. And just jokes like that all night.
Were people okay with that, or they were pretty upset with you?
You could definitely tell the hosts were trying hard not to like break character and try to keep a straight face with me.
Okay. So how many people were there?
I'd say about 50.
50. Okay. So it's smaller than I thought it was.
But it's in like a small little bar. Like I'd say it's...
Oh, so it's packed.
Yeah. Well, like I wouldn't like. There'd be times where I'd try to go from one side of the room to the other, and I had to squeeze by his groups.
Yeah, you have to
So,
like hold your drink above your head and stuff like that.
oh, I hold it right inside my coat.
Mm,
I don't want. I don't know if I hold it up. I'm a short guy.
that's
I don't
true.
want to hit someone in the face.
Get everyone in the nose.
But like my friend Adrian, he was there, and his character was a pilot.
Uh-huh.
He fought in World War One, but for some reason he took it that his character was like 70
Oh, right.
years
Yeah,
old.
you were talking about that last week.
And yeah, so he had I thought he was gonna go with a wig, like a white old man wig, but he came with like a white mustache and really terrible eyebrows that he just stuck on. It looked like two mustaches that he used for eyebrows. But he kept like the old man voice all night, and he managed to get pulled onto stage to perform with a bunch of these other like young actresses and singers.
Uh-huh.
So, but like if you, I don't know, like if you were there, his character definitely stood out more than anyone else in like a really good way.
Oh.
It was pretty
There
interesting.
you go, because I thought that was going to be really dumb.
It was really dumb, but it was good.
Good for him.
So yeah, by the end, well, there was a bunch of puzzles too. Like there was just a bunch of stuff laying around.
So what do you do when you get there? So you get there, you have a little backstory,
Mm-hmm.
you just grab someone you didn't come with and talk to them, and
You don't have to grab them.
it's more fun. And then so you just go through your backstory with them, and like, are you trying to get information out of other people, or?
So you could go about this in a few different ways. Like one of the girls I went with, she basically was there just to hang out. And she grab some drinks, and just talk to people that were other guests there.
Okay.
Then I have another friend who was very into like the problems, like the puzzles and the problem solving and the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
So he spent 99% of the time focused on that. He was going around solving problems. There'd be little incidents that happened between the main characters in that bar. One of them was there was I don't know, I don't want to say it was a thief or something, but yeah, let's say a thief, troublemaker.
Okay.
And he was causing a distraction, and one of the characters had stolen one of the main character's briefcase. Sorry, a guest character had stolen one of the briefcases.
Okay.
And that was his goal for the night. And because of that, he got his reward or something. I can't remember. I didn't know the guy, but yeah, that was his goal for the night. So that it was a lot of variety in terms of goals.
Okay. So can you tell us what your goal was?
I was invited by the mobster, and I was supposed to kind of gather information on this one guy who was buying up all these properties in the city.
Okay.
And see if I can find some dirt on him.
Did you found some dirt?
I did.
Ooh, what was the dirt? Can you let us know?
I don't know if I want to say.
Why? He's not a real person.
No, but like I don't know if they're gonna do this again. I don't know if it's it's kind of shitty for me to like talk about it in detail like that.
I guess because this is a secret game, right? You have to be invited to it.
It'd be like telling about all the problems in like an escape room.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So like if someone gets your character in the future then, and they happen to listen to this podcast.
Yeah. I know really slim chances, but
yeah.
But I got in, and now they gave out pins at the end.
Okay.
Well, for me, I got a pin. I think other people got different things. I was pretty drunk at this time, so I missed out on a lot of that stuff. So yeah, at the next episode that they do, I'll be in the mob, which is kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So 10 out of 10, do it again?
100%.
Nice.
Except this time might not go so hard on the drinks.
Yeah. So it's basically it's fancy LARPing.
Dang it, Josh. Yes.
Apologies to anyone who LARPs in real life.
It was fun though. Like dressing up and like doing the fun accents. Oh my God, it is LARPing.
Yeah. Did you have cards that like said how much damage you do and stuff?
My character was just fully equipped with guns and bombs.
That's cool. And so did you find that you were connected to other people in the game, or was it like everyone had their own backstory?
There was another gambler there.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to her briefly, but it sounded like she had different goals than me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
I don't know. Were you? Yeah. So you were connected to other people.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't just like they write these individual things. Okay, and
But like,
so
it wasn't like mandatory. Like if there were like 3 other gamblers, I didn't have to talk to them at all.
so how did they know? Well, I guess because you reported back to the mobster and was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
man, here's the dirt."
Yeah.
Okay, and then so like for the other guy who stole the briefcase, they'd be like, "The briefcase is missing, so he must have accomplished his goal."
hmm
Okay.
Well, I'm assuming he would have had to report to the character that gave him that.
Okay. And so did you know that going in that your goal was to find this person and
No.
do the goal? So it was
So
you had to talk to somebody
yeah.
and they
So
gave it
like
to
on
you.
my invitation, it was like, oh, when you come in, come find me at the back of the bar by the exit.
Mm.
Yeah. I was talking to the other gambler. I feel bad. I don't remember her name, but that
She
doesn't
probably
matter.
didn't give you a real name anyway, right?
No, I got a real name. She gave me her real name. She's like, oh crap. No, my name is actually. I remember I asked her because I was trying to find the guy, and I remember I walked in and the back corner where the guy should have been, he wasn't there. I was like, hey, have you seen so and so? And yeah, so she was like, I don't know who that is. Don't talk to me anymore. Get away from me. Why are you drunk so quickly?
Why are you from the South?
This is Toronto. Ain't got none of you Southerns here.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, you should come to the next one.
Well, I have to be invited apparently, so can't just show up, Victor.
No, you can. They're on Ticketmaster.
Oh, well, I don't want to pay for it. Yeah, I actually probably would enjoy that if I think about it. Like, because I enjoy puzzles, as we'll find out later on tonight.
Oh, what? Why would we find out about
talk
that?
about the topic today. We'll find out just what kind of puzzles I like. But no, I like puzzles, and yeah, I'd probably get into that. Talking to people. So everyone had their own goal though. So it wasn't like everyone was united. It wasn't like a murder mystery night where someone's murdered and you all try to figure out who did it. Okay, that's
like
cool.
I think by the end, like the bar was split like between the 3 gangs.
Where was this?
The Monarch Tavern. I think it's on the west end of Toronto.
Okay, I don't know why I asked. I don't know.
What? Yeah, when you asked me, I was like, oh crap! I took an Uber there. I don't know.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. All right, you want to jump into your?
All right. Well, my second game is called Mafia.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, it came out in, I don't know, maybe the 2000s, probably the early 2000s. It's a third-person shooter / driver game.
Driver.
Yeah. So the plot of it is that you are this guy named Tommy. Can't remember his last name, but he gets involved with the mob. This is like 1930s. It's not New York or Chicago or anything, but it's like
Toronto.
No, no. It's like major American city-esque. So it has kind of certain things that remind you of maybe like the Brooklyn Bridge or something like that, but it's not the Brooklyn Bridge. I can't remember the name of the city, but
I'm pretty familiar with the 1930s.
Yeah. You've been there. Only the South, though, right?
Oh yeah.
In Bolivia. So anyway, you play this guy named Tommy, and he gets involved in the mob. He's a cab driver. The first level of the game is you are a cab driver, and these 2 mafia guys jump in your car and put a gun to your head and say, "Hey, man, you better drive because these guys are coming to kill us. So drive." And so you drive, and then you get away from the bad guys, and they say, "Hey, man, if you ever need a favor, call us." And then so the next mission is those guys you got away from track you down as a cab driver, and they're like, "We were gonna get those guys, but you got in the way, so we're gonna mess you up." And so you run to a bar called Salieri's, which is the family that you helped in the first mission. And then from then on in, you are like a mob enforcer. You join
Makes
the family.
sense.
And
reasonable step up from taxi driver.
Yeah, and so you're their driver / enforcer. Well, I guess you start off as a driver, but each mission involves gunplay. So you kind of become an enforcer and then a lieutenant.
So wait, is he terribly incapable of shooting and aiming when you first start?
No, because it's all based on your skill. But that's actually one of the reasons I love the game is that both the driving and the gunplay is all pretty realistic in the sense of like guns do less damage if they're farther away from you. So if you run up to a guy and you're 2 feet away from him and shoot them with a double barrel shotgun, they'll die immediately. But if they're across the room, maybe they'll only take like 5 damage or something like that. And the same goes for you. So if a guy sneaks up on you and hits you with a double barrel shotgun, you're dead right away. There's no, and then you have to start the mission over.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's the one thing I really like about it. And maybe some people would not like it, but like it's accurate to the guns that they have. So it's the 30s, so they have like Tommy guns and Colt 1911s and stuff
They
like
named
that.
a gun after your character?
Yeah. Thompson 1928, I believe, is the gun that you use. I'm not a gun aficionado. They just display the name a lot.
You saw it enough?
Yeah. But like, for example, with a Tommy gun, there's recoil on it. So you can't do a full burst because eventually you'll end up shooting the ceiling because the recoil is that strong.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the cool thing. And then, and so basically every mission you start, I guess, spoiler for this game, you start the game, you have decided to turn state's witness and you're giving evidence to a detective. And so the entire game, you're narrating everything that you're telling the detective. And so you're just basically going through the greatest hits of your career
so you're recounting events.
Yeah. And so you start off with how you got involved and then how you slowly start escalating. And so every mission, of course, it's either you're going to a gunfight or you're doing a regular routine thing that breaks out into a gunfight. And so the other cool thing about the game, I don't know if people would find it cool or not. I found it cool, but you have to drive to every mission. So because they really want you to be a good driver by the time you get into car chases and stuff like that. So every mission, you start at Salieri's bar. They tell you what you're going to do. And then you walk up and you grab your gun for the mission if you need it. And then you go down and a guy in the garage shows you how to steal a new car.
Oh, so there's no fast traveling.
No.
Okay, so
At least in the PC game, I think it was on Xbox as well. I think you could fast travel in the Xbox game, but anyway, in the PC game, there's none. And so anyway, they give you a car and then you have to drive there. And then the best part, I don't know, you have to observe the rules of the road while you're driving.
Oh, cops pull you over, you run a red light?
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah. If you hit they'll pull you over, and if you get too many tickets, then they just arrest you and then you fail the mission.
You're part of the damn mob.
And then you can only pay them off for so long before they're like, no thanks. And this was also like, if you hit a pedestrian, they immediately try to arrest you.
Is it like Grand Theft Auto where you get like a star on your wanted?
No, there's two symbols that'll show up in the middle of the screen. It'll either be like a ticket book, which means that if they catch you, you just have to pay them off for a ticket, or be a pair of handcuffs. And I guess, there is like Grand Theft Auto because there'll be handcuffs. And then after a while, like a bar will start ticking down to show how much you're actually wanted. And then it'll go away when the bar runs out. But yeah. And then so as you're driving to a mission, you kind of want to be careful while you're driving, because if you crash, you take off health and you need every little bit of health to survive gunfights because this game is freaking hard.
Wait, is there more than one mafia?
Yeah, there's a few families that you're.
No, sorry. Is there more than one mafia game?
Yes, there's been a few sequels. I think there's Mafia 2 came out maybe 8 years ago or something, and a Mafia 3 just came out 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. So in the second game, you're a completely different guy.
Oh, okay.
And then in the third game, you're another completely different guy. And actually, I think in the second game, when you finish giving your testimony to the detective, it flashes forward to when you're like a senior citizen and you're like watering your lawn, and these two mafia guys come up and kill you because you ratted on everybody, and they finally figured out who you were, like where the witness protection sent you. And so
you think they wouldn't care anymore because
you'd think because everybody who was sent away is dead, but but anyway, in the second game, you actually are one of the guys who kills him.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a nice little connection. But I really like the game. The story is really fun. There's like great unique levels. Like every level ends up going into a gunfight, but it's not repetitive. Mm-hmm. There's a series of missions where you're trying to kill the other family's lieutenant or something like that, and you keep screwing it up. And so you go to his house and you plant a bomb on his car, and then his girlfriend starts the car. And then there's one where you go to the other family's restaurant and you ask for him on the phone, and then the other guy's going to be waiting there, and he's gonna kill him when he shows up. But that's the one day he's not there, so someone else goes up to the phone and be like, "Hey man, he's not here today." and then you shoot them, and then you have to run away.
So you're like the mafia version of Wile E. Coyote.
In that particular mission, yeah. There's another one where you have to like sneak onto like an old boat. You know the boats that have the big propellers, like the steamboats. I guess it's a steamboat. Yeah, steamboat.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, there's one where you have to sneak onto one of those dressed as a sailor and then kill the politician who's speaking on the boat. One of the hardest and probably the most fun missions is you have to steal whiskey from another family. Or no, wait, you were arriving because this is during Prohibition, so you're picking up Canadian whiskey from your buyers, and the buyers screwed you and tried to sell to the other family, and so you both show up at the same time to get the whiskey.
And it's just a three-way brawl.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The whiskey.
Yeah, so that was a particularly fun one. But anyway, so it's a really fun game. It's a really great story. It's kind of old now, but yeah, if you can get your hands on it, it's fun.
Wait, what console? PS3?
I played it on the computer. I think it was on Xbox, but the
Xbox One, like the first one,
like Xbox. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think though with Xbox there's loading screens, like, and on PC you can just drive anywhere in the city and there's no loading.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, it'd be annoying for Xboxes because I imagine you'd be in the middle of a car chase and you go to a new district and you have to wait through a loading screen to continue.
Imagine like it cuts you into a loading screen as you make a right turn. You load back up, you immediately hit a car.
Yeah. And that was the other thing too. Realistic car chases, like you could shoot out tires and stuff like that. And like you could, yeah, I guess that's not an original thing. I think most games with car chases have that. But at the time it was kind of new. And yeah, I really liked the game.
For some reason I was picturing PS2, PS3 maybe. I'm guessing.
Well, wouldn't PS2 and Xbox be out at the same time?
Wait. Oh yeah. Crap.
It might be on PS2. I don't know.
I don't know why I was thinking PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm terrible at this right now.
Anyway, that was my second game, Mafia.
I feel like I watched you play. Was it Mafia 3 that I watched you play?
Mafia 2, probably. I ended up getting that for the PlayStation 3. Yeah.
And that's the console I watched.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that one as much as the first one.
Interesting.
It was a nice story. Just didn't feel the same.
Didn't scratch the itch. The Mafia 1 left.
That's right. My final game is probably the most well-known out of the three of mine. It's Portal 2.
Oh. I was not going to guess Portal 2.
No?
No.
So for those not in the know, Portal 2 is a puzzle platforming game which has a unique game engine where you create portals. And so basically you create doorways between walls and so that you can move yourself and objects across the rooms and stuff like that. And so basically you solve puzzles that way. The other cool thing is like you can use portals, like it keeps the kinetic energy. So if you jump off a 2-story platform into a portal, you'll have the same speed coming out of the next portal as you did jumping through it. Anyway, they're just like unique puzzle games, which is great.
And this is the first one that has, I guess, the only one that has like a co-op portion, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they're very funny games as well.
The writing of them is really good.
Yeah, they're very like the humor is very British. I would say it's very sarcastic and dry. But anyway, I guess I'll go through the story because I guess I have to explain the first one a little bit. But the first game is you just kind of wake up and you are testing the portal device, and you're going through all these different rooms, solving puzzles using the portal device, and always with the promise that you will receive cake at the end of the course of tests. And so you get to the end of the course and you find out that the cake is a lie. And
the great cake meme.
Yeah, that's right. If you've heard that on the internet, don't know where it's from. It's from Portal. And so you are at the end, you are on a conveyor belt heading towards a furnace, and you can either let it happen or you can try to escape. And so if you escape, then you go kind of behind the scenes of all the testing and you find out that nobody was really watching you except for this computer called Gladys, and who's been kind of narrating your way through the puzzles the entire time. And so you get through all the behind the scenes stuff and you face off with Gladys and you destroy her.
You never figure out if there's any other testees were there.
No, you never do. And it's kind of implied that there isn't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is, because behind the scenes stuff, there's like graffiti and stuff like that, and that
Mhm.
you can read, and there's stuff that there's clues that you can put together, but it doesn't really amount to anything. You don't get a definitive yes or no. But that's the first game, and then so the second game, you wake up from suspended animation, and this robot, this little orb, it's basically a robot eye, is what he looks like, named Wheatley.
Like the butler.
Yeah, and he's played by Stephen Merchant, who's a British
Sounds
comedian.
familiar.
He's the guy who he basically is the co-writer on anything Ricky Gervais does.
Oh, okay.
So he made The Office and Extras, and yeah, very funny guy. He's in real life, he's like 8 feet tall and blonde and has kind of bulbous eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Very,
can picture that.
very lanky guy. But anyway, so this character Wheatley shows up and he helps you escape. And the only way to escape is to go through the tests. And then you inadvertently wake up Gladys, who you destroyed in the first game. But actually, you didn't destroy, you just turned her off, basically. And so you end up doing a core switch with her, and Wheatley ends up taking over the entire facility. And then, but he goes mad with power. And so instead of helping you escape, he just wants to make you test some more. And so you end up having to team up with Gladys, the bad guy from the first one.
Did they ever like tell you what the time difference is between the first game and the second game?
No, because you wake up in your suspended animation and it's clear that you like the room is completely just like rotted.
Yeah, it's overgrown
And like they say, congratulate or like welcome, you've been sleeping for 9 and then like they just kind of cut it off. And so you've been asleep for a long time. But anyway, you have to so the rest of the game is you have to defeat Wheatley now, who is in charge of the facility and is so dumb that he doesn't know how to control the facility. So if you don't defeat him, he's going to blow up the facility inadvertently.
nice. So the game ends either way.
Yeah. And then so you actually have to team up with Gladys, who is now attached to a potato battery.
Oh, is that where that? Okay, so there's a lot of like Portal merchandise,
Uh-huh.
and I remember seeing one with a potato and like a little thing attached to it. It's like, oh, okay. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so that's Gladys. Yeah.
I never actually beat that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No,
I played co-op with you. I think it was you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I don't know. I think I got occupied with something. It was probably. I'm pretty sure it was like Monster Hunter. That I got occupied
Yeah.
with.
Anyway, so it's a really fun game. Like again, the writing is really well done. Like Gladys, especially in the second game, more so than in the first game, she has this dry wit to her where she is just constantly putting you down, but she does it in like this sarcastic way. I actually have 5 quotes, the best Gladys quotes from Portal 2, if you bear with me for a second. And then, so just imagine this robot voice. It's kind of has a very calm cadence to it,
Mhm.
and it's just very dry. It just says, "Science has now validated your birth mother's decision to abandon you on a doorstep." Here's another quote from her. "Well done. Here come the test results. You are a horrible person." That's what it says. We weren't even testing for that. "I honestly, truly didn't think you'd fall for that trap. In fact, I designed a much more elaborate trap further ahead for when you get through this easy one. If I'd known you'd let yourself get captured this easily, I would have dangled the turkey leg on a rope from the ceiling." "He's not just a regular moron. He's the product of the greatest minds of a generation working together with the express purpose of building the dumbest moron who ever lived."
Is he talking about Wheatley?
Yeah. Okay, this one is my favorite. "Remember before when I was talking about smelly garbage standing around being useless? That was a metaphor. I was actually talking about you. And I'm sorry. You didn't react at the time, so I was worried it sailed right over your head. That's why I had to call you garbage a second time just now."
Yeah, I think that's definitely my favorite part of that game.
Yeah, and then so there's a part in the game where you end up getting sent back to the facility you're in is called Aperture Laboratories,
Mhm.
and so there's a part where you get sent back to the original Aperture from like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I guess, and you hear recordings of the original CEO,
Oh,
Cave
I love
Johnson,
that guy.
who's played by J.K. Simmons, and he has some really great lines as well. Because he's just kind of this no nonsense CEO who doesn't care about the test subjects that he's in, and I don't have any quotes for him. But like the game is very funny. The puzzles are engaging and very unique. Like I don't think I've ever played a game that uses something similar for puzzles.
I don't think I have either.
No, and so
Portal related.
yeah, and again, like Portal 2, I would argue that that's probably one of the better sequels ever made because it doubles down on what made the first one great while adding stuff to it in an organic way that doesn't feel forced. Like the best part about the first one is Gladys, and so even though you kill her in the first one, they find a way to bring her back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they add elements to the puzzle solving that just feel natural, and it doesn't feel like, oh, we better add some new stuff to it, or yeah. So it's just a really fun game, one of my favorites. And that was the game I talked about earlier, where just thinking about it for our podcast, I ended up started playing it again this week. So
I wonder, like, do you think the story between the like single player and the co-op, do you think they happen relatively close together in timeline, or do you think it's like
I was reading on it this week, and it happens. The co-op stuff happens right after. Actually, yeah, I didn't talk at all about the co-ops. The first game didn't have multiplayer, but the second one does. And so you're playing as two robots who are going through the tests. And so instead of having 2 portals, you have 4 portals. And so it adds to the puzzle element. And so there's a lot more complicated and a lot of stuff. Again, because it's co-op, you have to solve the puzzles together. But yeah, as I was looking it up, the co-op stuff happens kind of right after the end of the storyline of the second game.
Ah, crap. Does that mean I have to finish the storyline now?
Yeah, probably. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's funny.
I mean, I think I've tried it 3 times now. And like every time I get a little bit further, like every time I play it again, I start from the beginning because the jokes are good and it's not that difficult of a game. But yeah, I don't want to miss anything. But yeah, every time I get about I think the last time I played, I got to about when you meet that original like announcer from like Aperture Labs, the 60s.
Oh, Kate Johnson.
Yeah. I didn't get much further after that.
Yeah, that's probably about 2/3 of the way through.
Oh,
so
it's close, kind of.
Yeah, that's because I would call it Act 2 of the game.
Okay, 4th time's a charm.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about Portal 2. I mean, it's a fairly popular game. It's a fairly new game, so I probably don't have to sell it as much. Like people know what I'm talking about, but
it's a pretty well-loved game.
Yeah, but yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. I play it a lot. It's really fun. And like, even though I've heard the comedy multiple times, or I've played the puzzles to the point where some of them are memorized, like it doesn't get old for me. I love
the writing
playing
holds
it.
Up.
Yeah. Anyway, what's your third game, Victor?
My third game would be Dead Space on the PS3.
Dead Space.
Yeah.
Ooh, I remember this game.
Yeah. If you don't know what Dead Space is I'd say Resident Evil, but in space.
So it's a third-person shooter?
It's a third-person shooter.
Sort of, right? Because you're not actually using guns, right?
No, you do. Well, yes. Like you play as an engineer. You're an engineer in the future in space. It starts off with you going to a station and that you've lost contact with, or your company has lost contact with.
Mm-hmm.
Very alien-esque.
Yeah.
And you find out that everyone on this station has been turned into these necromorphs, which are kind of like these grotesque looking monsters / alien
very
things.
Cronenberg.
I don't know what that is.
He used to do special effects in the 80s and early 90s, but like the Thing.
I was going to reference. Is it did anything for The Thing?
I don't think he did The Thing, to be honest. Because he did The Fly. Did you see The Fly?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. But he has very gross practical effects that he's known for.
It mutates the human body. So like there's these weird arms that like your arm kind of breaks down and then reforms with like all these weird extra bones. You get these claws. It's pretty cool. But like shooting them, like you find out as you play through that like soldiers that were stationed there as security guards figured out that weapons, like just ordinary weapons, didn't do much. Like rifles, just regular bullets didn't do much to these things. The only way to kill them is to dismember them. So as an engineer, you kind of build this little plasma cutter from parts, and I guess from your toolbox, when he basically finds one, you find out that cutting limbs off is like the fastest way to kill these things. Like you get like a pulse rifle later on from like a dead soldier, and it does kill them, but it takes a lot more effort.
Okay.
That's
kind of interesting in itself that a video game would give you a weapon later on in the game that doesn't do as much.
It's more meant for certain enemies. So you'll come across an enemy that has these like bulbous body parts that are filled with like explosive fluids.
Like a boomer from Left 4 Dead?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That would be another honorable mention. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Sorry to cut you off.
That's cool. You go through the station, killing off necromorphs. It's a lot of there's quite a few jump scares in this. Like it's classified as like a horror survival.
Oh, though it's scary.
Oh, it's so good though. I hate scary things, but it's like, well, it's one of my favorite games. So
Yeah.
I platinum this game 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you bought remastered versions, or
No, it's a terrible reason. I originally started the PS3 with a username, an old username that I used. I hated it.
So you just created a new profile.
So I created a new one, but I was like, wait, I really like that game. I'll just play through it again, get the platinum again. And then my cousin got the game, and I was at his house one summer, and I was like,
let's play it
I'll
again.
play through it again.
Yeah, and it also does zero gravity, right?
It has a few zero gravity parts. Actually, it's one of I didn't see this done in a lot of games, but like there's portions where you can go into outer space. Like they do this in movies where they kind of mute the sound. But I've never seen that in like a video game, and it just gave such a weird feeling to it. Yeah, actually, one of the cool things about this game was when they were developing it. I remember watching an interview. The developer didn't want any kind of heads-up display fogging up your view because the necromorphs kind of blend into the environment and they kind of jump out. So they want you to kind of like pay attention to the whole scene. So a lot of like your health, your ammo count comes off Isaac's character. So like his health bar is on his back. It's like a little tube on his like where his spine would be on his armor. You can watch that deplete, and yeah, that'd be your health. That's basically what you're paying attention.
That's a cool feature.
And like your weapons basically has like a little like counter on it that shows the ammo, which is kind of cool. So like as you're playing through, like you have nothing in your view, like clawing out. That's a head. The one thing I wish this game did, Uncharted does, which is allows you to switch shoulders when you're aiming, because there's definitely I remember a few parts in that game where it's like there's a monster coming from your left side, but you're not gonna be able to see him coming.
Right.
But yeah, you play through and you find out that the station, there's a bunch of, I guess it's like a religion, it's like a cult that worships this alien statue called the Marker. And the Marker is what turns people into these necromorphs. And it's like some ancient alien thing
that gives off radiation or something like that. Or? Yeah. Okay.
You're about halfway through the game, you find it's like, okay, we have to destroy this thing. And then it's just a race between you and crazed humans that are just bringing on these necromorphs. And
cool.
Yeah. And it's a lot of the combat, they throw a lot of different like combinations of monsters at you. So you kind of have to figure out like what to kill first so that you're not screwed for ammo. Because you can focus on like the big creatures first, but then if you do that, you might be overwhelmed by the smaller ones.
Okay.
And they kind of are a bit stingy for ammunition, kind of like the old Resident Evil games, which is why I like it. So you're not just plowing through enemies.
Right. And then you have weird weapons, right? You mentioned the pulse rifle, but
yeah,
like,
so a lot of the weapons,
tools, right?
Yeah, so a lot of weapons, they kind of played off your character's main expertise, which is he's an engineer. So a lot of it is tools. So yeah, you get a rifle, like I mentioned, but there's one that uses like it's almost like a skill saw. He shoots a blade out in front of him.
Yeah, because why would you need that in the real world? So useful, right?
Well, yeah, because I guess you're in space, right? So you would use that to cut things that are a little bit further away. Zero gravity. I don't know, but like he turns things like that into a weapon. You get he jerry rigs like a flamethrower. He manages like a nail gun.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. You can like pin necromorphs to the wall. I don't know I can't remember if it kills them or if it just holds them long enough so you can deal with other monsters.
Okay.
And they never really explain how this thing works, but your character has a second ability. You shoot out this little piece of plasma and it slows down whatever it hits. So there's a lot of puzzles that involve slowing down, say like an elevator that you lift up, but then it drops so quickly. So you have to slow it down after you raise, so you have time to walk across it. But you can like freeze monsters for a small duration while you dismember them. And that's too fast. You can kind of just take your time with.
That's fair.
Yeah, they made 3 sequels to it. There's one the second one. That was okay.
That's the one with the eye surgery, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's then the second game at the end, you have to perform eye surgery on yourself.
Yeah, look it up.
With a drilling needle. It is.
YouTube it.
But like
Dead Space was the invention of pat mode, right?
Oh, we won't get into pat mode.
Okay, we can edit that in then.
Oh no, I'm gonna leave that in. But it's Dead Space is one of those series that kind of fell victim to like the studio wanting to do more of like the things that fans didn't want.
Okay.
It's like, so like the second one was more focused on action. They introduced a lot of cool new monsters, but like it basically became, here's a bunch of cool weapons and here's a bunch of ammo. Here's a bunch of like necromorphs. Figure it out.
Okay.
And then the third one was basically just a run and gun shoot 'em. But it introduced co-op mode, which is cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't play the third one again. It was really disappointing. And there was one for the Wii, which was like it was like a on the rail shooter.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like this,
yeah.
you just kind of move you through the screen, you just shoot. It was kind of cool. I never played that for a little bit. I don't think I ever beat it.
No,
It being like a little boring.
Never played it.
Yeah.
Never played any of these games.
Yeah, you should.
I don't like scary things.
Just get someone to sit with you. I'll sit with you.
Why don't I just watch you play it? I think that would be better.
And I guess that's our top 3.
Yeah, top 3 of each. You can see that our different tastes.
Yeah, they're very different.
Yeah, I seem to like more puzzles and stuff like that, and Victor and a good story, and Victor likes more combat-based stuff. Yeah,
Combat
There
and
you
side
go.
scrollers apparently.
yeah. But to each their own.
Yeah.
No one is better, except for me. I have the better opinion, obviously. But anyway, that's
We
it.
should do this again, but maybe next time we do it with the top 3, we should pick a console or like a generation.
Okay, or just pick 3 more or something like that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
It's like our top three that didn't make it to the top 3 the last
I don't know.
time.
Well, okay, we enjoy doing this. If you're listening, person, or one listener, if you want to hear some more of that, email in to somebody. Do we have an email? We don't have an email.
Just leave a comment. Just leave
a comment, and maybe we'll do more in the future. But
Oh, we will.
yeah, what are we going to talk about next week?
I didn't think that's far ahead.
No, we'll figure something out.
Thanks for listening, guys. This has been another week of The Average Uninformed. Bye.
Bye.
Stop it.